Yesterday I told you that we will be entering into second phase of C language. It has not been written in any book or curriculum that this is the first phase, this is the second phase, this is the third phase. But on the basis of my experience of teaching to so many students in my life, I have divided that. So first phase was that four control structures: sequential, decision, loop, and switch case. That was the first phase. Till this moment, everything is fine, my friends. Everything is fine because you are taught decision control structure. You are given assignments. You solve those assignments. You are taught loop. You are given assignments. You solve those programs. You are taught switch case, and then you solve some of the programs. So the process is like this. It is a repetitive process. Now, this chapter onwards, I am saying this as a second phase because now a real structure of C program will start. Because there are various methodologies uh, in programming, and each language follows certain kind of methodology. Like C++ follows the object oriented programming methodology. So likewise, C language follows procedure oriented programming. We call it as a POP, procedure oriented programming. Why we call it as a procedure oriented programming? Only because we write procedures in the source code, rather in the program. Now in last four chapters, you have written one function, that is the main function. Basically, procedure is a function. What is to be done? What task is to be performed? That we call it as a function. In our day-to-day life also, we ask someone, what is your function? If somebody is working in the company. So it does mean that we are asking for what are your tasks in company? What do you do in the company? So specific tasks are allocated to people working in a company or even in a team. So any project is a kind of a teamwork. Similarly, while writing C program, that program independently doesn't do that much. Program takes help of uh, some tasks which are performed outside the program. That's why C is called also called as a structured language, procedure oriented language, modular language. What are the reasons behind this? The reason is that basically we take help of functions. That's why it is called a procedure oriented programming. Now, in the last four chapters, I have solved many programs here and demonstrated to you. You might have written some programs. Now, in that whole process, I don't know whether you observed or not, but your code is dependent on some other code. Let's actually see what I mean. Before that, we will see what are the basic terminology we are going to learn in this chapter, and then we will start writing a program directly. The way this methodology is set for. I take live sessions only because I want to show you or I want to explain you maximum concepts of C language with the aid of live program so that no you understand, and that is supported by that e-learning course given to you because that is animated course. So whatever I tell you, part of that you may not be able to visualize. You will understand but you may not be able to visualize that, and visualization helps you to strengthen your concepts forever throughout your life. So let's see what is the basic terminology we are going to learn in this. So we'll be dealing along with the function, uh, main function. I'm going to talk more on this. Then types of functions. So there is a library function and user defined function. This chapter is more related with the user defined function. Then function call. What is the function call? What is the function definition? This terminology must be very clear to you because once you understand all these concepts, you won't be having any issues understanding any programming language in the future. And I mean it. Function prototype. Many students do not know what is the function prototype. Writing the function prototype, or it is also called as function declaration, is very important aspect of writing C program or even C++ program. What is the return type? I haven't talked too much on return type. What are actual arguments? What are formal arguments? So these are the basic terminology of this chapter. So you will be, hearing these words, hearing these terms throughout this chapter. At the same time, again, like earlier chapters, all these basic terminology will be carried over till the end of our curriculum. So all this again and again, I will, mention that. And since I'm going to mention these terms throughout our curriculum, you need to understand all this in this chapter. So let's start directly programming. Okay. So give me a minute. I will open the compiler. I hope the code block ID is visible to you. This is the simplest program, the first program, hello world. Now, before I start writing program, writing a code, let's revise a few concepts. I told you that any C program contains at least one function. So in any C program, there has to be at least one function. Second point, in any C program, there has to be one main function. Not one, but one and only one main function. So obviously, we can conclude that if C program contains one function, then that has to be a main function. That's it. Now, in last four chapters, we have written all codes inside this main function, right? Since main is the mandatory function. Why main is a mandatory function in any C program? Only because when you when you build this code, when you compile this code and convert it into machine code, and when you execute that program, there is a system call inside main function which calls the main function. There is a system call. What we call it is a system call. So that's why main is the starting point of program execution. Main is the starting point. Somewhere you have to start. Somewhere program has to be started, right? So that operating system looks for that main function. And that's where once, as I told you before, when main is called by operating system through a system call, then control is transferred to your program. Till that moment, operating system have his control over that the machine. Temporarily control is because you want to execute your code, right? Now, when control entered inside main function, all the statements inside that are executed, and when when the control exits the main function, return zero statement is there, and control is transferred to the operating system. So that return zero is sent to the zero is written to the operating system. Now, if I declare here two variables, right? I want to find sum of two integers. Very simple. I think there is no need to compile and run this program as of now because this we have seen long back, first chapter. What I want to tell you in this program, line number 6, int x comma y. What is we call it is type declaration. Line number 7, int sum, type declaration. Line number 8, blank line. Line number 9, 10 are printf and scanf functions. Line number 11, printf, 12, printf. Sum is equal to x plus y. That is your own statement, what we call is arithmetic statement, right? Line number 15, again, printf function. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of line, out of 9 statements, these 4 and these 5. So only 4 statements actually, rather return 0 is there. So how many statements you have written? In fact, you have written only 3 statements. Declaration of variables and sum is equal to, that is arithmetic expression, right? We can consider this as a single statement. If you declare all variables on single line, so int x, y, and sum, that's it. So how many statements you have written on your own? Just three or four. But what about printing something on the monitor? What about taking the input from the keyboard? You may feel that you are doing that. You are not doing anything, my friends. You are taking help of some function. See, printing the message on the monitor, it's a tedious task. You are just writing something inside the double quotes, but printing something monitor, it's a tedious task. It has been written by the by developers in the past and put it inside the library. Scanf available. Library function is available for taking the input. So whatever you input from the keyboard, that is scanned, processed, and stored in that variable. This everything is done inside that library function scanf. So what I mean, sometimes this young generation feels that I am independent, right? Independent boy, independent girl, right? This is some kind of I used to say that is a fake philosophy. Nobody is independent in this world. This is a philosophical statement, but yes, it is true. Look around you. Look around you. This whole ecosystem is dependent on each other. Right? Birds are dependent on us. Animals are dependent on us. Nature is dependent on us. We are depending on the nature. We are depending on the animals. We are depending on. So, this is a dependent system, right? So, let's actually apply the same philosophy to our small program, while writing program. We depend. It is not independent code, right? So, at least in the future life today onwards, at least don't say that you are independent. People start working somewhere, and the very first month software engineers get no package of few lakh rupees per year. Okay, so immediately, some kind of arrogance, there is a smell of arrogance. I have become independent now. What the hell you are saying here that you are independent? You are dependent on that company who pays you, isn't it? So one should not say that. Okay. So that is different story, my friends. I can talk a lot when I teach any technical subject, but I don't want to talk too much on that. What I mean is that any C program is a collection of functions. Is a collection of functions. That's why it is called a modular programming. The procedure program. So when control reaches here, the control goes to printf function, which is in the library. So that printf function is executed. Then again control comes back. Then scanf function. Then that again control goes to that scanf function in the library. That is executed. Again control comes back to the printf function. So likewise, huh? Observe your day-to-day life. You wake up in the morning, right? Suppose, suppose there is a maid in your home who's, who cleans your home, right? So that is a kind of a function. You have no, you can do that. I know that, but how many tasks you will do that on your own? So you have appointed a maid. That maid comes, cleans your home, daily activities, which are sundry activities handed over to her. She cleans that, and she gives you. She returns something to you, clean home, right? So such kind of activities, if you can observe, are throughout the day, right? If you are using some public vehicle, You take help of that public vehicle. That is a kind of a function. You are giving something and they are giving something in return. You are paying and they are giving services. If you want to iron your clothes, you hand over the clothes and that iron man gives you clothes back, the iron clothes. Your vehicle has got some problem, you don't become mechanic to repair that vehicle. You hand over that vehicle to the mechanic. Mechanic repairs that and give your vehicle, returns your vehicle to you. So these mechanics or laundrymen or no whatever number of agencies around you, millions of agencies are there around you. They perform your task and give something in return, right? A farmer, you approach a farmer and purchase vegetables. So he is doing that, growing that crops and all these things and no vegetables to you and you pay for that. So you are calling that. So this is basically a function call mechanism. So when control comes here, function is called, control goes there, function is executed, again control comes back to main function, again scanf function is called. So this is a function call mechanism and it remembers everything. It remembers everything. For example, I am teaching you right now. Somebody knocks on this door. Somebody knocks here. I may quit at this moment. I go there, open that door. Somebody might have come over there to ask me something, or some task might be there. I'll finish that task. I will come back. Again, I start resume that work. Right? So while performing this task, I perform some other task and again come back. So this is how the main function is executed. Now the question is, if these are the library functions, where these are? So these are stored in a library files. What we call them is a .h files, header files, header files. These are header files. So stdout.h, stdlib.h, numerous header files are there. If you want to see these files, you can go wherever your uh, code block or whichever compiler it is stored. So this is a compiler, right? Code block ID. I hope you can see that. For code block ID, there is a MingW compiler. I told you, code block is not a compiler. That is an IDE where a lot of facilities are clubbed together. Integrated development environment. That is the integration of many tools. So there is a compiler. When you some kind of compiler is required. So MinW is the name of the compiler. So inside MinW, there is a include folder, right? And inside include folder, there are numerous files you can see. I hope you can see them. There are numerous header files, and that's why I used to say that when somebody says I know C language, I feel bad. Why? I feel bad about him or her because learning any particular programming language it will take years to know master that. What we understand is just fundamental concepts of that. But one should not say that I know C language. No, it's a lot of it will take a lot of time. So see the number of header files over there. How many how many any normal program will uses at the most three or four. But see the number of files over here. Huh? So one of that you will find that here somewhere. you'll find somewhere stdio.h. Here, stdio.h. Commonly included in your program. If you open this, I open this file with Notepad, right? So this is basically the header file. So somewhere here, these codes have been written by the compiler developers. All this is the C code. See, somewhere here you will find that printf function. Yeah, see here is a printf function. Alright, here is a printf function. Here somewhere is a scanf function. Somewhere here. So now don't think of no understanding whole this code. When you learn that whole C programming, part of that you will be able to understand. Meaning of that. What I mean, meaning of that you will be able to understand. That's why I teach C programming in that way. At least you should be able to read and understand the code written by someone. Okay. Forget about writing your own code. It will take some time. It will take some time. But the significant time, significant period has to be passed. But at least, even though I cannot write this kind of code, at least I am able to understand what is that. Okay, just see here. I told you, no, just see here. How much you can, at least on the basis of current knowledge, how much, what you can, at least you can judge, or what you can know, tell. Okay, at least we can say there is a return statement, keyword is there, so some kind of something is getting written. There is a question mark and colon, so that is a ternary operator. Got that? They have used that ternary operator. So at least something we can say about that. So we know that if this is true, why it is true, what is, whether it is relation operator, yes, there is greater than and equal to, right? No, don't try to think about this. What is might be? It will take a lot of time. Okay, whole life you have to invest into that. Then there is a question mark. So at least on the current knowledge, we can say that if this condition is true, execute this. Or because why or there is a colon. So turn on the operator, execute this. Right. So that's why we learn C language. Right. And that's why I teach C language in that fashion. So slowly you will understand. So at least you should be able to read and understand part of the code. So this is the stdio.h library, which so stdlib.h is there, right? Which are usually included by default. So there is some code again, right? There is again I define all these things we haven't yet seen. Okay, we will be looking at this. What is the meaning of this, right? At least you can see these are comments. So I told you comments are necessary. So they have used those comments inside the program, right? And there are a lot of functions and all these things. So everywhere these functions are there. So what I mean, crux of the story is that this is a modular programming. Now let's go back to the our presentation part, and again we'll come here. Function calling mechanism. Features of main function we have seen. In any C program, there is a at least one function. If only one function exists, that must be main function. If multiple functions are there in the a C program, then at the most there can be only one main function. There are two types of functions. One is a library function, so printf, scanf, all these are library functions which you call from your program. Another kind of function, which is the topic of this subject, is user defined functions. So we are going to write our own function. Why we need to write our own functions? Because library doesn't give you all functions in which can perform any task. It may happen that tomorrow, like we want to, you want to no, earlier we have written code to find whether particular number is prime or not. No, library function doesn't contain any function which will tell you whether the number entered is prime or not. If library function doesn't contain, you will write your own function, right, and put it inside the library. Call that function. So each time you don't need to know write that code of finding whether the number is prime or not. So, depending upon our requirement, we can write our own functions and put it inside the library. We can create our own library and call those functions whenever we want. That's it. So that is a modular programming language. We have seen that procedure-oriented programming is same as C is based on procedure-oriented programming, modular programming. So we have seen that. Now parts of function. So any function you take, main function. So it has got so many parts. So function has a prototype, function has a definition, function we call it as function block like a if block or else block. There is a written type of function. There are actual arguments, there are formal arguments, and there is a call stack. Some of these you may not hear in any book or in the videos on the YouTube or like that. So we're going to talk on parts of function. I hope this ID is visible now. I will take simple program, my friends, simple program, because now there might be a doubt for this task. Why do we need to write a function? But and this doubt is going to crop up in your mind. I'm sure about that. But let it be. But ignore that, and try to understand the intricacies. What I want to tell you, try to understand because our focus is not how to find the square of a number or addition of two numbers. It is not our focus. Our focus is trying to know the intricacies of function, how function is called, how we can write the library function and all that. Now our uh, objective this program is to find cube of a number, square of a number. That's it. Okay. We will add. I will add something new if we necessary. Right. So let me write the command. Write a program to find cube and square of a function. Right. Now if I write int x, we int write num. Huh? Right here printf enter number, right? Slash t scanner percent d. It is erratic. Sometimes double quote is no, it takes double quote. Sometimes it doesn't take. No, I don't understand the reason behind this. Compiler and operating system and this internet technology are like no, we human being. So sometimes we become erratic. We behave erratic. So machine also behaves erratically. So that happens. I learned programming in that fashion, right? You can understand programming like logic when you understand yourself as a human being or you look around you. So apply the same logic, you will understand any programming concept. So when machine becomes erratic, no, I don't get irritated. Why? Because we as a human being sometimes get no, some behave erratically. We get angry. So similarly, there is a machine. It might be get angry. We don't know. But so I'll declare two variables, square and um, square and cube. Right? Two variables are declared. I will write program. I will explain program. So we know how to find the square. So square is a num into num, that is a square mathematical expression, and cube is a num into num into num. Right? I will square of percent d is percent d. Right? Now I will write here num and square, name of the variable, right? And printer cube of percent d is percent d, right? And there will be num and cube. Good. Not a big deal. You have learned C language, four chapters. So I don't think you need to uh, I need to explain all this code. So if I compile this program, nothing new in this, run this code. Okay, for time being, I will do that as well. So I will enter 5, so 6. Square of 6 is 36, cube of 6 is 316. So nothing being in that, right? Now we will try to write functions for carrying out these activities. Small task, finding square, finding cube. Small tasks are there. But I will write now functions. Functions for this, separate functions for this. Right? So I will write program is simple, but I will actually know tell you a lot of intricacies of this terminology and everything. Hmm? Now see here. If you can see this now code, when I started this session, I told you that C program contains minimum one function. So yes, there is a minimum one function. There must be at there must be a main function. So there is a main function. There can be only one and only one main function. So can you see? Yes, there is only one and one main function because this is not main function. This is not main function. Something different. Now, C program is a collection of functions. I told you that was an answer. Is it a collection of function? Yes, as of now it is a collection of functions. Earlier it was also, but it was calling some functions from outside. So this is a library function. This is the library function, right? And now we are writing our user-defined functions because I will remove this. I mean, I will put it below the screen. If you look at this program now, this is a function call. This is a function call. This is a function call. Like printf and scanf. Why these are functions call? Because there is a name of the function. There is a name of the function. There are opening and closing brackets. So there are opening and closing brackets. Something is written inside this. Yes, something is written inside this. Not necessary it has to be written something. Okay, sometimes nothing is written. Same happens here. Is a function name like scanf and printf, just function name. Opening and closing, something is written inside this. It is terminated by semicolon. This is also terminated by semicolon. Okay, nothing is behind this, but something is behind this. That is the only difference. But this can be, I mean, printf behind printf something can be written. I will show you sometimes in the future. Okay, or even behind scanf we can no something like we can write number is equal to. It can be written. Its meaning I will explain you sometimes in the future. But only difference is that nothing is written behind this. Meaning of that, I am coming to that. So this is a function. We can now as soon as we see that since this is a function and this resembles that. So that's why this is a function. Why do we call it as a function? Because it is followed by that opening and closing round bracket. Something is written here and it is semicolon. Right? Like variable rules, you know that name of variables. So likewise, there are rules for the function as well. So name of the function should be meaningful. That name itself should reflect what that function is doing. Right? If you go to laundryman, then that hoarding is not of a restaurant. Okay, hoarding will be like you will get iron clothes or pressed something like that. Okay, So that's why this is basically a name of the function you have given, square of int number. It can be number square, whichever you feel right, whichever you feel appropriate, you can give that number. Similarly, cube of int, that is the names I have given to them. Now something is passing, we are passing something. So when you write square is equal to square of int number, this is called as the function call. You are calling the function. Why? Because what this function is doing, earlier we were writing the formula here only, but now we are not written right here. We are writing that task. We are given that task to some other function. That's why we are passing one argument to that function. So this is called a argument or parameter. Some languages call it as a parameter. Python says as a parameter. We call it as an argument. So this is an argument. What kind of argument? It is actual argument. It is actual argument. So we are passing this argument to function. Where is that function? It is somewhere else. Okay, for understanding purpose, we are writing in the same program because we are trying to understand the basics of functions in C. So, like this main function, this is also a function, right? There is a main, there is a square of int number. Is there anything something? No. So main function is not taking anything. But you will understand this in the last chapter of this thing. Whether main function, where something can be written inside that close opening and close. Yes, anything. I mean, something can be written. Something useful can be written. Okay, that is different story altogether. So, like main, this is a function. Name of this function is square of int number. This is the definition of main function. This is the definition of square of int number. This is the definition of cube of int number, right? This is the actual argument. This x is a formal argument. All these have been explained along with animation in the animated course, right? So don't worry, you can revise this with the aid of animation. This is the actual argument. This is a formal argument. This is an integer value, integer variable. So again, this has to be integer variable. So data type of x has been written here, right? Main is returning an integer. That's why you return 0, right? Similarly, this function is going to return integers. So this is the return type of a function. Function may or may not have return type. There might be some functions which may not have return type, right? So function may or may not have return type. If function has got return type, that means function is returning something. Then that function has to be terminated by return statement. Here main is returning integer, that's why we have written return 0. Sometimes in few colleges they write void main, right? Void main. If a few colleges use that old DOS based Turbo C compiler, in that they used to write void main. So at that time they don't write this statement, they omit this statement. Why? Because function is not returning anything, right? But now the current standards, C11 standard is there, C99 is largely used. That DOS based TC was based on that C89. C89 is a version of that. Before that, actually, basically ANSI C was there. The same name was given in the C89. That is 1989. That's why C89 standard at that moment. And then came the C99. Then C11 is there. I have heard C17 is also there. Some 2017 to C17. C11 is there 2011. Some standards, some changes are there. Okay, we don't want to go into the details of that. Our focus is different. So the current standard says that right here int. That's all. So we write here return 0. I have told on this return 0. 0 is a convention to uh, send value to return to the operating system, right? So that operating system understand that program ran successfully. This that okay, everything is covered earlier. Let's talk about these functions. So square of int is a number, user defined function. It is taking uh, one argument. Why? Because function we have called the function by sending one argument. So int x, right? Function is going to return integer. Now whatever task that function is going to perform, that code we have written inside the function body. So this is the body of the function. This is the body of the function. This is the body of the function. This is body of the main function. This is the body of square of int function. Right? This is code same as we have written earlier many times. So declaration of variable. This variable is local to this function, right? I'm going to talk about all these things in a storage class later in because separate topic is there. So p is a integer variable. Now, what you were doing in this function, we are writing separate task, no? X into x square. So we are finding a square and storing that variable contains in p, and we are returning that p. So if we enter 5, x will contain 5. This x into x 5 into 5 that is 25. P will contain 25. Return p. So 25 will be returned. Once it is returned, it will be assigned to square. I told you earlier example. I am teaching you. I am here. Somebody knocks. Some task is there. I will go there. So temporarily I will leave this place. Leave this currently going program. I will shift over there. Right? I will finish that task and will I go there only? I won't come back. I will come back. Why? Because I left from here. Right? So I will come back and resume from the point where I left. Similarly, when control jumps from this place, when control reaches here, the control goes at the right hand side. Compiler finds that there is a function call. So function, I told you this is a function call. So compiler and compiler also knows that one argument is passed. So control jumps from this location to this location. Jumps directly jumps. Control goes from this statement to this statement directly. Why? Because there is a function call. It takes num along with it. So num is copied to x. The contents of num is copied to x, right? And then this function is executed, task is executed, and the result is written. When result is written, it is assigned to the variable on the left hand side. What will happen if I don't write like this? This will be executed. This will be executed. But where that value to be collected, value has to be collected no somewhere. If function is returning something, we have to collect it. That's why we have written that square is equal to. These are not just name of variables. It can really be x, y, p, num, number, whatever. Because I told you, name of variables and name of functions can be anything, right? But good programming practice is to variable naming and function naming should be meaningful to a programmer and to other programmers who read your code, right? So this is one function. This is another function. This function will calculate cube of a number. This function will calculate square of a number. Now this is formal argument. Num actual argument. The argument which is sent, actual argument. The argument in which it is received values is a formal argument. It is a formal. Now, this means formal doesn't mean it is a informal. It is the actual and it is a formal. That's it. Right? So this is how the code is executed. Right? So if I run this code, giving some error. Why so? Implicit declaration. Q and X is undeclared. Okay, X. Okay, Y and Y. Right? It gave error because it doesn't recognize that formal variable. Formal name of formal variable is Y, right? So you need to write Y into Y into Y, right? Because num will be copied to Y. It has to be multiplied thrice, right? So if you execute that this number, if I enter 5, you will get square of 5 is 25, cube of 5 is 25. So now we are getting the task done from other functions, user defined functions, functions written by a user, our own functions. So what I mean here, now to printing something you call the printf function. To scan from something from the keyboard, you call the scanf function, right? Similarly, now to find square of any number, you are calling square of int number function. To find cube of integer, you are calling cube of int function, right? So that is the use of the function. So once you write this function, similar functions, and put it inside the library, your own library, you can include that library, and you can know task again and again. Repetition can be so just like a loop. Certain part of the loop you can execute repeatedly if you put that code inside the loop instead of writing same. So function reduces that task. Function actually gives you power to reduce that code, and no once you write that function and put it there in the library, so that you can call it multiple times. You can call it multiple, but you don't need to write that code multiple times. Got that? That is the benefit of function. So function is a building block of procedure oriented program. Program. See program. We think about functions always, right? Something is to be printed, call printf function. Something is to be input, call scanf function. Something is to be done, call this function. Something is to be done, call this function. So this is how program is executed, right? So this is all about functions. Now I will take one more program. Again, simple program, because I want to tell something about function prototype. Right? If I run this, compile this code, it will give addition of two numbers. What is 6 and 8? So it gives 6 plus 8 is 14. How this code is executed? Total is name of the function, user defined function. It is not a library function. So it is our own function. Definition we are writing here only. So we have to design function like because function is a separate code body, right? Like main function, that is another function. It will contain code. So while calling function, we need to design that in our mind first of all. On the paper, you need to like for you, you need to know design that on the paper. what is the task of the function, how many arguments function is going to take, and all these things. So, like no, you want suppose you want apple juice, right? You want to prepare apple juice in your home. What you need to do? Put that apple, cut that into pieces, put it in the juicer. Juicer will give you the juice. So it is like that. So as you know that what is to be done in the real life, you have to think on that what is to be done while doing programming. If you want to write the function which will give you addition of two numbers, then definitely that function will take two arguments because you're sending to you want addition of two numbers, right? So you're sending whatever the numbers are taken here, you are sending them x and y are actual arguments. Control goes here, x is copied to p, y is copied to q, right? Inside this, there is one temporary variable, local variable. We cannot say temporary variable. S is a local variable to this function. S is equal to p plus q. So you are making addition, storing the result in S, resulting that value to the calling function, and you are receiving here, storing in the variable sum. That's it. Now, the question is the default return type of any function is integer, right? Let me execute this program first. 6 plus 3 is 9. Now, if you don't write this and run this code, it will be executed. No problem. Why? Because default return type of any function is integer. Default return type. Right? But suppose one of that is float. One is integer, another is the float. And we want to find addition of x and y. One is integer, another is float. So result is going to be float. So we know that result is going to be float. Right? So nature accordingly program should be there. Y is a float, so you write float f, right? There is nothing wrong in here, right? Little bit of changes must be here, right? Now here we need to this is a float. Why? Because y is a float, so this must be float. This also must be float. Why? Because p is integer, q is a float, p plus q result is float, so this is float. Now if I run this code, what is the problem here? Semicolon. If I compile and run this code, first of all, this is cannot be compiled, right? Why? Because you are returning a float. So here the return type of function should be float, right? What is the problem? See now, earlier it was giving a lot of problems. When I wrote this statement, it stopped giving problems. Now these are the now current compilers which don't allow you. But this is called a prototype of a function. What we call is the prototype, function prototype or function declaration. This is written before main function. Before main function. This is intimation to the compiler. This is intimation to the compiler. And you are going to tell the compiler that I am going to call the total function. I'm going to call the function. The name of function is going to be a total. It is going to take two arguments. Why two arguments? There is a comma. See, one comma means two arguments. So it is going to take two arguments. The first argument will be an integer, the second argument will be float, and the function will return floating point constant. So that is the prototype of a function, right? So on that basis, function will be called and it is executed. The function prototype and function definition must match. See, this is a there is a similarity, complete similarity. Float is return type, float is return type. Name of the function is total. First is integer, first is integer. Second is float, second is float. Name of variables are not there because that is not necessary in the function declaration. Okay. Another big difference is this is not terminated by semicolon. This is terminated by semicolon. Why? Because that is a statement, that is a intimation to the compiler, and this is a function definition. This is a function declaration or a function prototype. This is a function definition. This is going to be executed only when it is called. Got that? If you don't call this function, that is not going to be executed. This this is not going to be because you haven't called it at all, right? Suppose if I write here, if I do not call this, when I execute this program is going to be executed. That's it. Program is going to be executed, right? But function is called at all. Function is not called at all. That's why it gives you some value, what it feels right. So this is a function call and prototype and a function definition. So function prototype is important. Function declaration is important. And before main function, you need to write that function definition or a prototype. Today we will stop. Tomorrow we will write. Like yesterday, I wrote 3 or 4 programs on the loop, so that on the switch case, so that you understood that. Day before that, I wrote a few programs on the loop, so you understood that all concept. Similarly, tomorrow we will start. Tomorrow I am to write 3 or 4 programs exclusively on very functions, and then only you will understand whatever remaining, whatever you didn't understand, you fail to understand today, you will understand tomorrow completely. That's it.